Good morning, boys and germs, and welcome to the Daily Crack. Not long now till I'm no longer a CrossFit Westgate gym owner, or gym owner full stop, and owner of CrossFit Westgate. That torch will be handed to Johnny Ross pretty damn shortly, but while I'm here still, I'm still going to do my daily cracks from here. Obviously in coaching my last early morning classes this morning, and yeah, again, it's bittersweet. I won't miss, I'll be honest with you, I won't miss waking up at 5 a.m. But I will miss the people that are in at that time. And obviously this has been the hardest part of all this decision. It's the people, it's the clientele that them I will miss the most. It's as simple as it is. But anyway, the show goes on in another way, shape or form. If you are keen to continue following this dickhead on his continuing journey, I continue my work now online. I'm not turning my back on the fitness industry. I still love it. I've spent a 15-year apprenticeship being part of this industry, and I love it, and I will always love it. Now it's just I'm changing up how I do things, hopefully aiming to reach a larger audience, create a larger gym, but in the online space. So I may not have it put in the comments yet, but I'll put it in afterwards. I'll edit it in. I have a new Facebook group, which is a free Facebook group that will contain a shitload of content regarding nutrition, training, mindset, fucking tips on how to lift and all these whatnot wonderful things, and a place for you guys that if you don't mind the way I go on about things, it's probably a good group to follow. But if you're not that inclined to like the shit I say, well, don't worry about it. You know, it's not for you to delve into. But it's there anyway. You can click on it. It's Hennigan Fitness, and it's a free Facebook group, as I said. So there'll be loads of free shit in there. But anyway, the Daily Cracks will always continue on my channel here, and I'm going to shite on as much as you can tolerate, and as much as I like. So it's as simple as that. So today's Daily Crack. More cardio is not the answer. And this comes from a question I was asked just the other day. Someone was talking about, they'd put on a couple of extra kilos. If you're watching this video, excuse me, you know who I'm talking about. You know yourself. They'd put on a couple of kilos over the last couple of months or whatever. And they were like, what should they do? Should they add in more running? I'm like, nah, mate, that's not what you need to do. You need to watch what's going in the cake hole. And more questions. Oh, well, I do this, I train this amount of times per week. You know, should I put in more cardio? I'm like, no, you're not listening to me. It's not about your cardio. It's about what you're putting in your cake hole. That is the key to this. You're gaining weight, not because you're not exercising enough. It's because you're eating too much. It's as simple as it is. So if you're somewhat out of shape at the moment and you want to get back into shape, training and running and cardio will be a factor, but not the biggest one. What you consume in food is the big contributor, you know what I'm trying to say, to you being successful. Either you staying at that weight, gaining more weight, or losing weight. You know, how would a person gain weight in the first place? If that was the question, how do I gain weight? You need to eat more. Simple. If you're gaining weight in the moment, what are you doing? You're eating more. How do I lose fat? Oh, I need to exercise more. No. Eat less. It's about the eating. Now, if you know my method and you hear me shite on about it all the time, the easiest way to kind of be accountable for what you're putting in your cake hole is track your calories. Measure it. Know how much you're consuming on a daily basis, and you will soon get an idea of how much you're over-consuming. And I can guarantee you this, because this is typically what happens. If you are a couple of kilos or maybe 10 kilos beyond the weight that you would like to be at, You didn't gain those in the last 10 days or overnight. Weight does not accumulate all of a sudden. You don't just wake up fat. You become larger gradually over time. Okay? How long have you been, like, how many years ago were you at the weight that you operated best? Now, for some people, it was when they were like in a teenager. You know, they were that young. So it's been quite a few years since they were at a shape that they liked, or they were, you know, athletic. Is it going to take 20 years to get back to that? No. However, your body has adjusted to this larger frame. So when you lose the weight, or when you start to track your calories and you start to lose weight, I'm kind of going off track here a little bit. You gotta understand this, that you don't own your new weight until you've lived in it for a minimum of 6 months, especially if you've been overweight for a long time. So there's a certain spell of adaptation that has to happen. That's why a lot of people, they'll go on diets for a while and they lose a shitload of weight really, really quickly. But there's a couple of things happening there. One, it's not sustainable. They go on a super restrictive diet and you can't keep that up, and they're all looking forward to getting off it. So then when they finish their program, they just go back to eating, no, maybe not eating the same things, but more food, and the weight just rockets back up to them. Rockets back on. And they don't maintain the weight loss, and they're more defeated, and they're like, fuck this, what have I done? But the second thing that has also happened is your body is used to a certain state, which was homeostasis, and you've created a new homeostasis for you, which was maybe 20 kilos more, and your bodily functions has learned to operate with that extra weight. So you've lost the weight, but your body is constantly fighting to get back there. It's like, no, this is where I'm comfortable. So you got to give your body time to adjust to this new frame. So you've lost 20 kilos from here, and now you're over here in this new body. It takes a minimum of 6 months in this new body to maintain it, to reset all the bodily functions, the way your hormones work, the way your circulatory system works, the way your nervous system works, the way everything, just to adaptate to this new frame. So when you lose the weight, the work actually starts then. The journey of losing weight is the beginning. You get down to the weight that you want to, and then your work actually begins. So I hope I haven't fucking disappointed people or fucking annoyed people in what I've said, but it's the fucking truth. I've completely gone off track. I've completely gone away from what I've said. Listen, to bring it back again, the long and short of it is, if you have kilos that you want to shed, fat that you want to lose, you need to track your calories. You need to be in a calorie deficit. Not an extreme one that suits you, one that's slightly less than what you're currently consuming. When you're gaining weight, you're probably eating on an average maybe 4 or 5 days of the week, maybe 200-300 calories more than you should. That's enough for someone to gain weight. That's a calorie surplus. Now, if you're not training super hard and lifting weights, you're converting those calories into fat because they're not being used. They're not, the energy that you're using in the body is allowing for this surplus to stay there, and it's sitting there, and it's becoming fat mass. All right? So if you want to lose this fat mass, you got to track your calories, and you got to put yourself in a calorie deficit and become accountable. And over 7 days of the week, eating slightly less than your maintenance level. And that's it. It's not more cardio workouts. It's not more training. It's none of that sort of stuff. Being in a calorie deficit to burn fat is the key. Once you have burnt the fat and you're in a position or a state where you're content with what you've done, then we adjust. But your journey constantly adjusts. It doesn't stay the same. It never fucking stays the same. Every fucking couple of weeks on your journey, it changes. It has to change because you're changing as well. So understand that if you are on a weight loss journey currently, it's all about what's going in the cake hole and measuring that shit. And it's up to you. If you're not willing to measure it, don't. But fucking shut your mouth complaining about where you are then. Because it's this It's a tried and tested method of how this shit should be done. If you want to do other stuff like go on a ketogenic diet or paleo or intermittent fasting, all that stuff is doing is removing a food group or eliminating a meal, and it's putting you in a calorie deficit. The same fucking shit as tracking your calories. But you're following some plan that you're not going to sustain. That's the shit. As I said, boys and germs, if you want to join my group and hear more of this shit in a more fucking direct way, join it. Hennigan Fitness on Facebook. Giddy up. Mr. Arta.